Okay, so now it's waiting on you. Sorry, guys. This is first time. Oh, my God. So, yes, Chuck Norris. Oh, my God. All right, Daniel, let's see your face.
Hello.
He's here, y'all. Yay.
This is crazy.
Wait, so did you have to do
David.
it on your phone? Did you have to go? You're on your phone right now, then it wouldn't let you.
I am not actually on my phone. It's on the stand.
Okay.
Right.
Awesome. You know what I mean, though, but you're not on the computer. Okay.
This is so cool. I get to nerd out right now for like an hour. I don't have any diapers to change. I'm hiding from my family in a secret location. And I'm stoked.
Yay. Well, good. So let's give it. Yep. Hi, Jess. So can you, now that you can kind of see how this works, Daniel, do you see like everyone's name and like them writing you and stuff at the bottom?
I do, and it's scrolling super fast. Hi,
yes.
Lori. Hi, King David. Change your diaper. That's on Tuesdays, which technically it is Tuesday.
So we typically start this, you know, and more people are joining right now. So we could probably, I mean, we're about 4 minutes in. We probably wait 1 more minute. But how this typically works is I'm going to ask you a few questions, and then we take questions from the fans of your fans, and you know, talk about yourself. But how we start this in the very beginning is, you know, you introduce yourself and then talk about yourself and what, you know, what led you to this, to here currently.
All right, and in case I start to ramble, you have permission to like say a safe word or something to get me back on track.
Bananas.
Bananas. Okay, if I hear you say bananas, it's like, okay.
Well, they'll probably tell you, and I'll read what they're telling you.
Okay.
Oh, someone from Thailand just popped in.
Oh, JS Mood! You're here from Thailand! That's so awesome! That is so awesome! What's it like on tomorrow? Which technically it's tomorrow. Anything cool happen? Nope.
Remember, there's a lag, so you're going to say it and she'll, yeah.
I'll just be like, man, they're ignoring me. There's a lag.
Yes, there's a lag. So, okay, yeah, let's start it. Let's talk about you and then do a little about me bio, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, sorry if this is repetitive for some of you people who have the book and all that stuff. My name is Daniel. I'm a Cancer. I like long walks on the beach with that special someone. I'm actually a 42-year-old stay-at-home dad for 2 handicapped kids. And I am a Weight Watchers and love it and love the system and love the people in Connect, even the trolls. Even trolls need love. Shrek taught me that. But let's see. I had a great job as a graphic designer, website developer. And once my little guy was born and had Down syndrome, we decided that I would stay home and become Mr. Mom and become an official 1950s housewife with a unibrow. Took a little while to get the hang of it. And eventually, for a reason we will discuss later, is my why. I joined Weight Watchers, and the rest is kind of history from there. But I'm married to a woman I don't deserve, because I know she's going to watch this, so I have to throw that in there. Hi, honey.
Sorry.
Yeah, you realize this isn't Starbucks. Sorry, I can't really talk loud at Starbucks. Yeah, she's gonna freak when she opens up my bank statement next month and is like, why is Daniel get a hotel room? I'll be like, it's for an interview, even though that doesn't sound right.
Oh my God.
But, yeah.
Sorry,
I had to get away from the kids.
Me.
I had to get away from the kids. Otherwise, like, you'd be hearing this, Poppy, Poppy.
Aww.
Like nonstop. And I'd be like, Jesse, put your sister down. So this is the only way I could do it. Okay. You forgot to say bananas.
No, you're all right. It's good because there's like chaos right now with people popping in, so you're good. Okay. Well, so what led you to wanting to join WW over any other weight loss program?
Because when I was looking at all the rest of them, I looked at keto and was like, ooh, I could eat deep fried butter. That sounds awesome. But then I couldn't have pasta, and I couldn't have fruit, and I couldn't have bread. And so that's a no. Atkins, Rob Lowe's commercials annoy me.
Oh, I love
I mean, it's like animatronic with a, do you ever get hungry? Try my peanut butter bars. And it's like, and so then I read an article on Weight Watchers that stay within your daily points, eat responsibly, and you can lose weight eating normal food. And as a lifelong glutton, that sounded wonderful to me. And that has proven to be the case. And so I joined thinking that I would be happy if I could possibly lose 1 pound a month. Just 1 pound a month, you know, over a couple of years, I'd finally get to where I was. And then it was just like, bam, my weight dropped like Kim Kardashian's morals. And it was just, I dropped weight like nothing. And yeah, sorry.
Sorry for the K fans over here, man. He's calling everybody out. Poor Rob.
This is not going to be a PC humor hour, folks.
No, clearly.
Sorry.
So, and then wait, so how long did it take you to lose the weight then?
All right, the women in the room are not allowed to be upset at me.
We can't.
Okay? Please know you're a dude. Okay, yes, I am. Though this is California, I could choose to identify as something else.
Oh,
but I, let's see, the first month I dropped 23 or 24 pounds. And then I started figuring out how to cook, and it just went crazy from there. And I ended up losing 53 pounds in 3.5 months without doing a single push-up, going for a walk, or anything. Sorry, ladies. It was the food I was preparing too. I was in a massive calorie deficit all day, every day, even though I was still eating good. Mm-hmm. It was like living on lean cuisine practically. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, being a guy probably had something to do with it, but that wasn't all of it.
Well, I like that though. That shows people that you really don't have to work out. It really can be about the food. It's about nutrition. So, I mean, you know, I understand. I walked for my journey the first like 9 months. I didn't do any kind of hardcore workouts or anything like that. So that's awesome. And so then what is your why?
Oh, dear Lord, nerd glasses. I actually feel bad whenever people are talking about their why. Everyone's so inspirational in Weight Watchers. It's like, I'm joined because my child is sick and I'm doing this to show them anything's possible. I wanted to put on a Star Wars costume. That's it.
Awesome. That's okay.
My nephew, Tim, this was a few years back. He's cancer-free now. He had cancer at the time. And every year, my sister would put on a local community charity event up in Sacramento called Timmy Strong. She's on Twitter. It's like Timmy Strong. I think hashtags what you young millennials call those things. Yeah. I call them a pound sign.
Hashtag.
Yeah, hash is legal here now. But I promised him, sorry, I promised him that the following year, because my sister got in contact with an organization called the 501st, and they are licensed by Disney and Lucas to go to charity events dressed in Star Wars costumes. And I promised him that the following year I would go as one of his favorite characters, Boba Fett. And I didn't realize at the time, I thought I could just go to Party City and pick up a costume. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like $50-$60. I could just walk around with the people dressed up stormtroopers and Darth Vader. It pretty much cost a kidney. Yeah. I bought half of the stuff and had it in, didn't tell my wife how much it was going to cost, because that's what guys do. We are irresponsible and we try to hide things from our wives until we find out it works.
You keep giving away so many tidbits here, and she's watching this.
Oh, she knows. Like, oh God. She knows. Yeah. At this point, it's like she can't get rid of me because childcare, if I'm gone, would just be too expensive.
Oh my God.
And you know, at least I enjoy vacuuming. It's weird. Side note, bananas.
You can't say the same word.
I'm narking on myself.
I love it.
So,
okay, wait. So you wore the outfit and.
Well, no, I couldn't fit in it. I got it in, and I was too damn fat. I looked like an Italian sausage busting out of its casing. It was like I got the costume. I waited till she went to sleep, and I'm like trying to, like the commercials where the ladies are on the bed trying to pull up their jeans, and it's just like wrapped around the thighs, and you're like straining and about to get a stroke. That was me with the costume. I couldn't get it up past my legs. I was so ashamed. I could not return it because it was non-returnable.
Yes.
And I could not tell my wife, well, I could say how much this part cost because that's nothing compared to the rest of it, that I had just spent $600 on just a couple pieces of a costume I couldn't fit in.
Yeah.
So I hid it in the garage.
Yeah.
Where, along with my shame, and looked into joining Weight Watchers. And I'm proud to say, if you are in Connect and search hashtag DHalleckY, you can actually see the posts of me in my costume the following year at his charity event, going around dressed as Boba Fett with the other Star Wars guys. I finished 3 days before his event, and I did it again this past year. So that was a long rant to say I wanted to dress up like a nerd and go to Comic-Con conventions in a Star Wars costume.
That's awesome. Wait, so I don't know enough, and Peach is in here. Hi, Peach. He's laying down.
You're about to say you don't know Star Wars.
I am. So Boba Fett is the Mandalorian? No. Oh God,
that is close enough. This interview may continue.
Okay. Okay. Wait, so is Boba Fett a Mandalorian? Is that what that? I don't know.
All right,
you guys.
if we want to go into the Star Wars non-canon extended universe novels, he is Mandalorian, but it just got retconned. Okay. Nope. Okay. I'll stop the nerd. Tony Williams isn't here. I could nerd with him. And I could nerd with King David. I don't want to bore all of you nice ladies that are in here with Star Wars nerdness.
Cat Lee Muffin Stuff just said, "OB, just no." Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys. Take her to school. Hush, Kevin. Hush. Okay. So question number three. Let's see. So, and if you guys have any questions too, you guys can pop in. I'm gonna ask him something fun right now.
Such a nerd. I see you, JJZCL. I remember you from Connect, Missy.
Hi. How did you and Lupe meet? How did you meet the wife?
I met her my first day at work, working in a hospital as a physical therapy aide. And it's actually a funny story because it could have gone either where I end up with her or I end up as a stalker with charges. Luckily, it worked out in my favor. I was a young buck when I got hired. And, you start at a new place and you're like, oh, she's cute. And then you spend a couple days and you look and it's like, nope, that one's high maintenance. Nope, that one, nope. Okay, this one, okay, I like that one. Unfortunately, we had nothing in common.
Oh.
So absolutely nothing, dear God, polar opposite. She's little Miss Genetically Skinny Fit Chick. And I was like, hey, is that a cheeseburger? So I spent the next 8 months in what I'd like to call deep cover. Some people would call it stalking.
Oh my God.
I pretty much, anytime she would work, I'd be charting at the same table, and I'm like, oh, hey, got any plans this weekend? What you doing? Trying to get little feelers of what things she liked to do, and then I would force myself to like them. So even stupid little things like she liked cranberry juice. I hated cranberry juice. I forced myself to like cranberry juice so that we're in the cafeteria and I'd be like, oh, hey, I like cranberry juice too. And it worked. It worked. I forced myself to like mariachi music, which I hated. I forced myself to listen to Que Buena in the morning, like Mexican talk radio, to try to get to learn Spanish because her parents don't speak English, which is why they like me so much. We haven't had a good conversation.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And
oh my God.
Our first date, a coworker coordinated this whole, department get together after work. And so in order to accomplish this, she snuck into the supervisor's office, got Lupe's phone number out of the Rolodex, which for us older people know what a Rolodex is. You young people wouldn't. And we put on a whole department-wide happy hour just for the premise to get her to carpool with me to this place.
Oh my God.
And I didn't tell her about it until after we got married, because then it's too late. You're sucker day.
Oh my, of course.
But it worked. It worked. And
that's awesome.
I still don't know how I landed that ship.
Do you still, have you found a new love for mariachi music?
I actually really like it now.
Okay, good.
Man, those people know how to party. They do. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm half Caucasian, I'm half Arab. We got stuffy parties in comparison. It's like, you get the Latino parties going in there, there's like banda, mariachi, they have taco carts with people. It's like, dude, they live it up.
I like your accent right now, like this kind of... God.
It also has to do with my wife has gotten the kids when we had kids, and she's like, do you want the kids to call you daddy or papi? And I'm like, please don't make them call me papi. I sound like a pimp. And unfortunately, it happened to where the kids just call me papi now.
That's so cute. Sorry, you guys. I can't help laughing. The shitty thing, like... Oh my God.
I am picking up the kids from school and stuff. It's like little teeny hobbit Jessie is at preschool, and all the parents line up and they're like, Linda, where's mommy? And she's like, there she is. And then Jessie, where's daddy? Jessie, where's daddy? And I'm just like, don't say it. Please don't say it. And the teacher's like, Jessie, where's Poppy? And like all the people just look. And I'm like, yes, I'm Poppy. And I'm like, come on. And he comes running over, and it's really cute. And I'm like, so everybody at the school, they call me Poppy.
Oh, that's like, so cute. I love it. I love it. Hold on, I want to WW Connect couple. Hey y'all.
Hi guys, I made them cupcakes.
They said, Daniel, we're still dreaming of the cupcakes.
Mm-hmm. And I took Rachel too, I think.
I think you but it said, Daniel, we're still dreaming of the cupcakes from our proposal.
I'm much better at them now.
Our officially in. Oh, that's so awesome, you guys. Yay.
That was so awesome. I got to go to their meeting, and I shoved a phone in Rachel's face, and so she just sat there and was nice the whole time, and it was great.
That's awesome. Okay, you guys got to give Daniel some love. Throw some hearts up on there. They're in the corner. I saw someone ask about the hearts. They're in the corner on the bottom.
Okay, I was wondering what those little things were. I'm like looking behind me, like, what the?
Yeah, but it's like when people send you hearts, they love it. So now.
What if they don't like what you're saying? What do
I
they
wish
say?
they'll just put a thumbs down or. I'm just kidding. See, oh, you're getting all the hearts. Yay. Okay, so wait, where did I get y'all? So I asked you guys, I'm like crying from laughing so much with this guy. Like, when we talk on the phone, I can't, like, I'm just laughing the whole entire time. Pound sign hearts.
This is fun. I don't get to talk to adults. You guys don't understand. This is the closest thing I've had to adult interaction in God knows how long. Usually I'm just watching The Wiggles. And right now my kids are into this character on YouTube called Blippi, and oh my God, I like one ice pick. So I'm like getting to sit here and talk to people, even though it's digitally. Hey folks, I like adults. I feel like a functional human being.
I know, Donna, he's really, really funny. I have been following him for a long time. I think we've been friends for like over a year or over a year now.
We've been friends longer, we just didn't know it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
I'm sorry. I don't stop.
I love it. Okay. Bananas. Let's see. Number 3, right? Question number 3. Oh, this is a good one. When you joined, did you think that you would have the following that you have now?
No.
No?
I was a total lurker for a little bit.
You were? I didn't know that.
Well, because the way that I attacked the program with just through like manipulating recipes to be lower in point and all that stuff is so counter to what you're told to do for the most part. I mean, once again, disclaimer, the views of Daniel and the Guilt-Free Gourmet are his own and personal. They do not represent the views of Weight Watchers, and therefore, don't sue me.
Yes, this is all just talk, private talk between two friends.
Because trust me, I'm not endorsed by him.
Oh boy, Daniel.
Yeah. But the way that I cook food, it's not really how it's promoted in workshop. You're told to, look for lower point substitutions, but you're never really taught it. All the recipes are good, nice recipes, but you're never really shown examples of swapping ingredients, making stuff lower calorie, lower point. It's just, the mantra of have your regular food, have a smaller portion, which there's nothing wrong with that. That works for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I am a recovering glutton. Telling me to have a delicious little hockey puck size, that won't work because I'll want a second one. Yeah. I'm a volume eater, so making food lower calorie and lower point works for me. The way that I prepare food was so different that whenever I would try to offer advice and connect to somebody who was talking about how much they miss pasta or how much they miss a dessert or something, and I would chime in, just leave a little connect, hey friend. And there was this one lady who I won't say her connect name, though I remember it, Mayor something. She was put on earth by Satan himself to join Weight Watchers to jab at me every single night. Oh my God, she was horrid. I almost quit the program because of her.
I didn't know this. Oh my God, you never told me this. Oh my God.
She was a succubus. And I eventually...
Let's pray she's not watching right now.
Oh God, no. Probably wishes I got hit by a bus back then. But anytime we were up at the same time of night, so anytime I would offer advice to somebody, she would comment in the same post of, don't listen to this guy, he's lying to you, he's leading you astray, he's going to sabotage you. And I'm just like, no, I'm not. I'm just saying that if you prepare pasta yourself, it's lower calorie. No, it's not. It is. And I'm sorry, but it is. And so this lady in her little sewing circle would go after me every single night that I would post, and it was hell. And there was this one turning point moment where I was trying to tell somebody how, well, if you cook like this or this, and she left me a comment of pretty much, well, put your money where your mouth is because you're lying. So start posting recipes and show us, otherwise you're lying. So it was like, all right, okay, game on. And so that's when I started posting recipes. And they were, simple ones at first. And just, like a broiled chicken breast with like fat-free cheese or something on it. And then she was still poking at me, and I'm like, all right, lady, gloves are coming off. And that's when I really jumped into the recipe builder, and it became more of a, I will show you that you can have gourmet crap, not necessarily crap, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That will put you to shame that you could order at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Not something on some like little mix a can of cream of chicken with some rice and here you go, 7 points, yay. It's like, I want something you would see on a menu.
Right.
And be happy to get, and I'm going to shove it in your face.
Yeah.
And so I started doing that, and after a couple weeks of posting food, and I challenged myself every single night to try to make something crazier and crazier and crazier, she shut up. And eventually she stopped posting, naysaying me and stuff, because, I'm over here doing the chicken divan stuff, and I'm, hey guys, look, 4-point lasagna, and all of that. And she couldn't say crap after that.
That's awesome. So you didn't block her? You did not block her?
I eventually blocked her.
Good.
Because it was just like, all right, I wanted to make sure you saw that I did what you could, and now you're blocked.
Yep.
Not
Yep.
that it would care to her. But that's why I really, really, really started diving into trying to make the fancier food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
so it's kind of
awesome.
selfish reasons.
No, that's, well, she said, put your money where your mouth. So, like, yeah. That's
My wife was buying the groceries back then, so I was technically putting my wife's money.
David said she made you Batman. You had a lot of people in here message saying that she did you a favor. What an awful woman.
She did.
Like,
She
negative
did.
Nelly, succubus, we hate her, troll. I remember her. Oh, Julie in Thailand said, I remember her. And K-Fly444, it's always Karen, and that's true. It's always Karen. That's so funny.
Yeah, so it is funny, like you were saying, how at first it's something you really internalize and you're upset about it. And then in retrospect, you look back months down the road and you can see how that adversity you had back then got you to this place you never thought you would be. And it's all because of that nasty person back there pushing you.
Yep.
And
so
awesome.
Thank you, Sewing Circle.
Thank you, Sewing Circle.
Thank you, lady in the Sewing Circle. Okay. Question number 4, and you know this one, so I'm going to allow you to not. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Karen. She's like, it's always Felicia. That's right. It could be Felicia too, because we do always say bye, Felicia. That's.
I feel so bad for people who name their kids Felicia without knowing the negative connotation that has now. It's like anytime somebody does something bad, they're like, Mom, why are people saying goodbye to me all the time? Like,
God damn it.
It's like,
all right. Number 4, did you always enjoy cooking? This is like a part 1, part 2. So did you always enjoy cooking, and what made you start posting recipes, which you explained that, so we can skip that one. But like, did you always enjoy cooking?
No. I could burn top ramen.
Oh
I was a horrible cook. The only reason I started trying to learn how to cook was because I wanted it to it was back to the stalker stuff. My cute wife that I had nothing in common with, I thought, well, maybe if I can cook, that would be one more thing in my favor. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, I started trying to learn to cook so that I could impress a hot chick at work.
That's awesome.
And it took a year of me burning everything and my poor family having to eat all of it because I was making dinner that night. And so I practiced at home on my poor family. And then when I finally got good at it, it was right around the time we started going out. So she was like, wow, Daniel's a great cook. I'm like, you don't know the trail of destruction I left behind me.
Oh my God.
So that's why I started learning to cook.
That's awesome. No, that's really good, because that gives hope to people. I was the same, not a good cook at all. So you keep doing it, you keep trying, and yeah, eventually you get better.
It's so fun.
I wanted to ask you, remember there was a story that I wanted you to tell that you haven't told anyone on Connect. You wanted to share that story. So I
just realized whenever I do that, I look like the Joker
Oh my
Sorry,
God.
Or the guy from It.
Oh my God.
Okay, this is my absolute favorite food story, and I didn't realize I've never posted about it in Connect.
He's so excited, y'all. Look at him. He's
I am. It's the thing that made me like fall in love with food. Okay, well, minus the whole Gorge Fest for the first 30 years of my life, practically. But as an adult, like, fall in love with how delicious food could be. I used to, in my early and mid-20s, I worked as a union carpenter's apprentice. And I was working for this one union contractor in downtown LA that just worked in commercial high-rises and stuff. And I liked cooking at that point. It was fun. And my good friend, Don, who was my superintendent, he was telling me, okay, come to this office building today. We're going to be just putting in an oven at this one kitchen. I'm like, okay. And so we get there and we go up stairs and it says Bon Appétit. Is this like the magazine? He's like, yeah, this is their Los Angeles offices. This is where the test kitchen is. And I'm like, oh.
Cool.
And I'm like, oh my God. And So I'm like walking in, and it's like when you go into the Sistine Chapel, even though it's just a little like commercial space, I'm just like, oh, I'm in Bon Appetit. And notification, thank you, junk mail. Apparently, there's a sale at Kohl's that they had to email me right now about.
You're supposed to turn your notifications.
I don't know. I'm a newbie. You didn't tell me about notifications.
I didn't tell him. I had
bananas. And okay. And so we're going in, and I like turn the corner into this gorgeous kitchen, and I'm just like, oh. And this one lady, probably in her 50s, 60s, in like a chef coat, comes in, and it was just me in the kitchen at the time, and she was asking if we were there to put in the oven, and I'm like, yeah. And so she said, well, would you like me to give you a tour? And I'm just like, yes. And this is my Graceland. And so she spent the next 15 minutes. I was just me and her were the only ones there, and she's walking me through every single ingredient there. She's like, here, smell this. This is smoked paprika. I'm like, this smells like bacon. And she's like, isn't it gorgeous? And so that's where I first learned about smoked paprika. She's showing me all their spices, telling me about different things that I've never heard of, like pomegranate, molasses, and all this stuff. And I have one of the Bon Appetit test chefs walking me around, and I'm just like, oh, and I'm just like exuding joy, and so just pure happiness. And so she leaves and brings in some other lady to meet me. She's like, oh, hi, you're Daniel. I've heard so much about you. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this place is so awesome. I love your magazine. I'm a subscriber. No, I wasn't, because it's expensive. And, you know, but I didn't want him to feel bad and say, oh no, I don't have your magazine. And so during the course of the day, there was like this army of people that they were marching in here, different ladies and people in women in like suit pant thingies, like whatever Hillary Clinton wears, pantsuits, and I don't know, and just tons of people coming in, receptionists, cooks, just coming in to meet me, and my boss is looking over like, what the heck's going on? And so towards the end of the day, this was like one of the most awesome things that's ever happened in my life, and I still have it at home. Towards the end of the day, they asked my boss, can we borrow Daniel for a moment? And I was like, okay. You can't say no. She's the editor of Bon Appetit. It was like one of the head editors. And so we're like, okay. And she takes me to her office, and I'm just like, this is like where the ninjas come out and like stab you in a movie or something. And I turn the corner, and almost all of those women that I had met during the course of the day, that they had paraded them in there, were in there. And they took me in the middle of the office, and they're all like ringing me, and I'm like, this is what's going on. And the editor lady, she pulled out this big cookbook, and she said, this is the first edition of our cookbook we're about to put out on the market, and I wanted to give it to you. We've all signed it. And she like opened it up, and all of them on the front cover, the back, and everything, they had all written like a paragraph or sentences. So wonderful to meet you, have fun in the kitchen, enjoy the recipes. And I was the introverted fat kid in high school, so I didn't really get people signing my yearbook.
Yeah.
I didn't go to any dances or anything like that. I had like a couple friends, but no one had ever done anything like that. And here's the editor of Bon Appetit and the test kitchen people, and they all gave me hugs and gave me the book, and I'm just like, and they're like, oh, and we have one more thing for you. And they marched me back to the kitchen. And my boss is there just like looking like, what the hell's going on? And I'm just like, I'm verklempt. I think that was Mike Myers' term.
Verklempt, yes.
And so then the test kitchen lady says, And we wanted you to try this pie that we made. It's actually the cover of next month's issue of the magazine. And it was a lemon meringue ice cream pie with a toasted pecan crust, a layer of vanilla bean ice cream, lemon curd, vanilla bean, and meringue on top, toasted frozen.
Whoa.
And I hate lemon meringue. My entire hey, I said okay, hated.
Hated.
Past tense, I apologize. And so my boss hated lemon meringue. But I'm not gonna say no. And so this lady slices this gorgeous piece of pie, hands it to me, and they all walk to the back of the room and they just go against the back wall and just watch. Yeah. And we're like, okay, this is awkward. And so we're standing there with like forks, like, and there's like 8 ladies lining up just watching. And so I like dip a fork, and it was like Ratatouille when he takes that bite, and
yeah.
He was like, and I took this bite, and it was everything stops. Where it's like your tongue explodes. It's a full-on mouth-gasm of food. Mm-hmm. And it's like it was the most amazing thing I had ever tasted. And I'm just sitting there just, and I look over, my boss is just like, and we couldn't talk. I couldn't even chew. It's like, I don't want it to move off of those tiny little receptors on my tongue.
Yeah. And
all the ladies, they just start like smiling because they know.
Yeah.
And
that's so awesome.
So I still have that autographed book. I've tried emailing Bon Appétit over the years just to let them know about that and like what's happened to me since and all that stuff, and where this huge food inspiration started because of that. And here I am from the little construction worker sweeping up their floor to couple cookbooks now, and how much of an inspiration they were, but that I consider that my yearbook that I never got.
Mm-hmm.
And
aww, gee, that's awesome. Aww. Okay.
I love that.
No, that's a great story. I'm so happy that you were able to share it, and just the way that you talk about it. People, it's on Connect, we're always writing and it's a picture, or we could do a video, but this is a little different where they're watching your facial expressions right now, and it's just amazing. So I do want to tell you, so Renee is in here where you said yes.
Renee! Oh my God! Renee Falgoof. I've never been able to pronounce it, Renee. I'm sorry, but I think you're awesome. You and Tony Williams are like my big I'm starstruck right now. You were like the 2 first big people that I followed in Connect when I was like a little newbie, and I was like, oh my God, she's awesome. And Tony too. Tony, if you're in here, I would just be ecstatic, but I know you're not. You're probably like driving a train somewhere. But
she wrote what? Yes, Nini, yes. He's been fangirling you for a while.
Oh my God.
So I had a few people write you when you were saying that story, saying like there's nothing like having people watch you while you eat.
I know. And it was like just a bunch of old ladies, not old ladies. I'm taking that back. Rewind. Back then I was in my early 20s. Now I am amongst that age group. So disregard. But yeah, there's nothing like having a bunch of ladies just watching you while you eat. It was quite uncomfortable.
I'm sure.
Not as uncomfortable as when they all walked me into the room and surrounded me. I thought this was like one of those Hunger Game things where I was like about to die. And, Lupe would never hear from me again.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Oh, she said she's fanboying you. Aw, Nini, yay.
See, I just duck-lipped. I was all excited. I was like, oh.
So, okay. Last question that I have for him, and then I want you guys to ask him questions. So, let's see, now that you've lost the weight and have this cookbook, how has your life changed?
It's blah. It has changed a lot, and then I don't think it gets conveyed when I post a comment and connect or whatever, that I do this just as much for what I get out of it from everybody versus what I put in. I know I've mentioned it a few times, but as a stay-at-home dad, I know it's probably the same for stay-at-home moms, you really start to lose any sense of self-identity. You know, your every day is just changing diapers, vacuuming, and doing the dishes. And day in, day out, that's all you feel like you are after a while, and that's all there is to you. Nobody has any, you know, you can't share stories with your normal friends about work or, you know, just experiences outside of your cave, which that's pretty much where we are. And I had very little self-confidence because I had nothing going for me in my own eyes. And then I start getting this response from people in Connect. And I mean, even my wife, she just says that the change in my attitude is so much different. I used to be a diehard pessimist, you know, just like Oscar the Grouch, but doing dishes. And I'm so much happier now, and it's because of Connect and the people in it and feeling like I'm able to help people. And that's why it's such a huge thing for me to, no matter what book I ever put out, that it always has to 100% be free. For anybody can go to my website and have it for free, because I know I've mentioned it before, that this is kind of like a ministry for me at the moment, because it's wonderful to feel like you're helping people. And yes, it's nice to make a buck, but it makes you feel even more freaking awesome to feel like you're helping the people that can't afford to buy the book. It's like, you know, I try to think of it like there's some little old lady who's feeling desperate in a trailer down in Alabama who isn't going to drop $25 on a cookbook, but she feels horrible and sad and depressed and lost and feels like there's nothing she can do. And you're throwing her a lifeline. And, you know, eventually she might get one, but she might not. But you have done your little part to try to, as stupid as it sounds, help save that person. You know, and if it's giving them a free cookbook that might give them tutorials and, you know, just little guidelines of how to change things and tweak recipes or just what they eat, that gives them hope. And they wouldn't have that if they had to buy it. Where a lot of the people, you know, you give it to them for free, and down the road, they might be like, hey, you know, this helped me, I'll go buy one. But they don't need to. I enjoy helping people learn to do this. It's nice that I don't have to ask my wife for $1 to go buy a cup of coffee anymore. That was depressing for a stay-at-home dad. And, you know, I paid for us to go to Legoland last year.
That's awesome.
And what was it, last summer, I got to post a video to Connect, where Connect, people in Connect, from just buying the book, they bought my daughter a bike. And, you know, just stuff like that. Where if that's, you know, obviously to stay compliant with Weight Watchers, I'm not going to put any ads on my website. But one of the nice things about that is it forces me to keep that mindset. Where, yes, it's because I want to comply with Weight Watchers and not get in trouble, so no advertisements. But always having to have that in the front of your mind that, no, can't type that, that's advertising. Ultimately comes back to making sure you don't start just seeing people as dollar signs. And because I don't ever want that to become my focus. You know, could you make a lot more money by advertising a bunch of stuff? Yes. Do you need to? No. Because, you know, getting by. I married a sugar mama, so I'm taken care of. You know, that's winning. The brass ring, boys. Marry a sugar mama.
Pound sign winning.
That's winning. Turn. Yes, honey, the interview's going fine. Thank you. Notifications, you didn't tell me this.
I know.
But,
I messed up. No, that is such a great.
but
Oh my
yeah,
God,
it has really done so much to change me as a person. And that putting together that free cookbook, the first one, that changed me. That is a huge part of my journey, is everybody convincing me to start trying to put stuff together into a book so that they could all download it, which was awesome. And then I realized that because of how much it would cost to print it at Kinko's, I tried printing a copy for myself, and when it was only 85 pages, it cost me almost $50. And so I was like, well, if I put this to Amazon, you know, people could buy it for half that, and they'd have a nicer copy than if they go to Kinko's or something, where it's 50 cents a page. And, you know, I only get like $2 or $3, so it's not like I'm jacking up the price to try to get rich. I want people to be able to have a printed copy and not. Right now, it's 120 pages. It would cost over $60 to have it printed at Office Depot or Staples.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was the primary reason I put it on there.
Yeah. No, that's so wonderful. That's awesome. And I wanted to read, Nini said, I think that is a side effect of the unhealthy, I call her Nini, that's my nickname for, you know me and my nicknames, D, come on. I think that is a side effect of an unhealthy lifestyle that we used to live. I never had a friend circle except for my hubby's friends. Now I look all around and there's friends all around me. Aww.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things I love about Connect is I'm trying really hard right now not to expand on any bad things. I'm just going to try to put out the good vibes, even though I got so much dirt.
He does.
I do. Let's just say there's a lot of dirt under some of that porcelain veneer you people see from others.
Bananas. Yes. No, I love that.
Where were we going? Oh no. Connect, people. How much I love them. You all have changed my life just with, you know, I didn't have friends. I didn't have people who were always giving me positive reinforcement. I feel like Pavlov's dog, where, yeah, it's nice that I started sharing recipes and then people were like patting me on the head. Oh. Just like, hey, that's wonderful. Thanks for sharing. So it makes you want to share some more.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah. Oh, Renee left, so I was saying bye, Renee. So now this is the part where I wanted you guys to ask Daniel some questions about food or any kind of thing that you want to ask. Maybe not, don't ask about dirt because he can't tell you.
Oh, I could. I'm just trying real hard not to. Jesus, give me strength.
Ooh, hi from Lake Washington. Is that what?
And so I'm going to rely on you to ask the questions from these because it's scrolling too fast with my old eyes.
I can help you with that. Take your finger and then scroll up, and they'll sit there. Do it. Do it.
Ooh, this newfangled technology. Back in my day, we had an abacus.
Oh my God. Patty said I'll send you my email address. Okay, so Daniel, what do you make that Jesse and Rachel love most?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Oh no.
Nothing. Even my ketchup. My ketchup freaking is bonkers, people. It tastes amazing. My daughter spits it out.
Yeah, he told me that today.
Jesse has gotten, he is so finicky. It's like a cat times 10. He won't even eat French fries I make anymore. No,
really?
Just French fries. How could you get French fries around? Oh. I tried giving him my cupcakes where it's like, you know, light comes on when I open up the freezer with my cupcakes. And Rachel's like, nope, no thank you, Poppy. People would drive across the country for these cupcakes.
We would. It's true.
Nope. My kids will eat nothing that I make that's fancy. They just want fish sticks and chicken fingers.
I mean, they're of that age. That's like super normal now. And Julie in Thailand said, I'm looking forward to more Asian substitutes in your book.
Substituting Asians?
But
or
I think more Asian, more
what,
low,
or Asian
low
dishes?
point, more Asian dishes, more low point Asian dishes. What I believe, like.
Oh, me too. I cannot wait to start making. I want to make Singapore noodles again because I need to take pictures and make recipe pages for that. I really want to make more Asian dishes. I got to get through this burgers, sandwiches, and like summer book. I'm trying to churn out burgers and sandwiches and side dishes right now before I can finally move on to whatever the next one. I think it might be pasta dishes or something. I'm not sure which. God.
Can you start mailing stuff to me like Lou gets? Because Lou's getting all your mailed stuff, and I'm not getting crap over here. I did get a T-shirt. And Peach, I did get a T-shirt that says I interviewed Captain Cupcake, and Peach got an awesome beard shirt. So that okay. So not I'm partly lying.
Chiafulu. You reminded me of Chiafulu, my arch nemesis, the paisano. I will have you know that there's one thing I was planning to do today that I totally forgot, and I'm all bummed I forgot it at home in the pantry. I purposely went and bought a champagne glass, a flute, one might call it, and a little container of almond milk. I was going to happily, in memory of Chiafulu, pour almond milk and sip it.
You should have.
For him.
Yeah.
Because he's my homie.
That would have been awesome. Totally awesome. Okay, wait, so we have some other questions. Wait, so are you going to make more Asian recipes and make them lower points?
I will.
Okay,
yes.
Good.
Eventually.
And Karen King 13 said, not a question, but admiration. I have a nephew who is autistic, and I know how much life changes for a parent. You are an amazing dad. Oh. And then
I can't take him back, so there's no real alternative. Looked into it.
Oh my God. So, and the Rotten Peach asks, how do you balance work, family, and social media? That's a good question there, Rots.
Who says I balance it? Oh my God. All right. The typical morning. God. I will use this past week with the Italian sausage and peppers burgers as an example of how I get a recipe done, and you'll be sadly disappointed. So pretty much just because of the kids' therapies, it makes it really, really, really hard to get stuff done. I have like little 15-minute windows here and there during the day. So those burgers looked delicious in the picture. I'm sure they were when they all would have been warm. The patties I had to make the night before at around midnight after I finished cleaning the kitchen like a good little housewife. And got the kids up, out the door to school, got back home, and sauteed.
Wait, do you clean in just nothing but an apron? Is that like what, does that happen?
I think the HOA wouldn't be too happy with that, with how many windows we have. I think there's a clause in there of like grizzly bears and aprons. So.
Okay, sorry, go on.
You finally got me. And so it's like after I finish cleaning the house, when I get back from taking Jesse to school, I have 30 minutes before I have to leave to pick him up again. So sauteed the peppers and cleaned off the table, and then go pick up Jesse. Get Jesse back to school. He has one therapy that starts 15 minutes after I get back, so shove a bottle in that kid's mouth, get him in the living room, therapy starts, boom, back in the kitchen. And all right, get the cooked patties out, throw the cold peppers on the cold patties. Oh crap, I forgot the cheese. Put the cheese on top, throw it in the microwave for like 20 seconds, put the cold peppers on it, put them, throw the buns in the oven so they're toasted. Sure looks pretty in a picture though.
Yeah.
Oh man, it all looks cold. Hit it with Pam. Shh. Okay, it glistens now. And set it up. Daniel, can you help run the potty program with Jesse? Damn it, Kendall. And run in there. I'm like, Jesse. And then you got to read his story while he's on the potty.
Yeah.
Things you didn't think you were going to hear when you tuned in today, folks. And then she gets him in, trying teaching him to tie his little shoes and stuff. Jump the gate, get back in the kitchen, and take pictures. And then it's time to head out the door, pick up Rachel from school, come back, everything's cold. I have my cold lunch with the patties from the night before and making them lunch. And then as soon as they're done eating, Rachel's therapy comes. And so that's pretty much how it is. So you people who've actually made my recipes and are like, Daniel, this is delicious. I wish I knew what that tasted like. You know, when it's all hot and comes together and stuff, and, you know, right out of the oven. I have no idea.
Poor Luke.
Like, yeah, my poor wife. The worst was when I was doing the cupcakes and cakes for 4 months. All I had time to cook was cupcakes and cakes. I couldn't make dinner. We were eating frozen food every single night because I couldn't cook dinner. I had time to cook one thing that day, and so it had to be another cupcake for the cookbook. And so it's nice. I have a freezer full of cupcakes. If anybody wants to come by, I will exchange, like I always say, babysitting for Low Point cupcakes.
Yay! Oh, wait, so Jana, we only have a minute left before it's gonna kick us out. I know, it's so crazy. It really did go well.
We gotta do this again.
I know, for sure.
I will ramble on like a mofo.
Well, I want to get to your one last question really quick. It's from David. He said, help a struggling brother out. I'm so out of control. Any guidance is helpful. Really quickly.
Oh, you're talking to the guy who's trying to fight the apple fritter urge every day. Oh.
I know. I'm there with you too, David. We're food addicts, so it's very hard. It's very hard for life. We're going to struggle for life.
God, it's hard. Every single day, I'm just sitting there like I drive the kids around. I'm sorry, David, I have no words of wisdom. I'm not one of those connectors who are, bananas, who will tell you how wonderful and inspirational they are and have all the answers. It's like, hell no, I fight it every day.
Yeah.
I drive the kids around every single night, and I drive by that same donut shop 2 times, and it's just like most days I can fight the beast. Some days it's like I can't. And you fall into it, and it's just like, damn it.
Yep.